Cool. You're good to go.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna stretch like this today. Excellent demonstration. So crazy. Sweet. So yeah, we're just gonna really just stretch, and this is all based for flexibility and just gaining strength while stretching for flexibility. If you are, since I can't hear everyone and we're virtual and I can't really see you guys, please just be super smart and safe. If we're doing a stretch and you're like, whoa, this is too much for me today, just back off just a little bit and you'll just work for another day. Please be mindful always when you're stretching. It's definitely a mind thing as much as a physical thing. Make sure you breathe the whole time. The more your muscles get oxygen, the easier it is for them to release any tension they have and just stretch and decompress. And now we're just really gonna stretch together. It's gonna be a nice time. Really, really chill. Hopefully you guys are having a good morning. So we're just gonna stretch and make up for the day. Sweet. Go ahead and get started. Sorry, he really always does this when I stretch.
Come on, big guy.
Sweet. We're just gonna go ahead and start a big, nice, wide second. My best way that I stretch to get super flexible is just from the head all the way down. So I try to do a full body stretch. So that's what we're gonna do today. Nice wide second. Make sure you're nice and ready. And here, 5, 6. Start with the head and down. And right. Back. And left. Head roll, roll, 3, 5, add your shoulders, 1, 3, 5, 7, and plie, 3, 5, add your arms around, and squeeze, other side we go, down, and left, and back, and right. Head roll for 8, 8. Add your shoulders down. Bend the knees and down. Arms follow and grab. Good, and head down. Gonna rock side to side, opening up your upper vertebrae. Good, let's roll down in 8 count. 6, 7, like a ragdoll. 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, plie. Stretch and roll up in 8, 8, 7, 6. 3, 2, again, heavy head. Plie. And stretch. Roll it up. And parallel feet, feet straight front. 6, 7, 8, and down. And plie. Up in 8. That is last. One last time. Heavy head. And down. Roll it up. Good. And out. And cross that right arm. Connect your wrist. And straighten that arm and pull. Make sure when you do this stretch that you're not just here holding it, that you're actually at the wrist connecting and pulling the arm across while you're pressing down in that shoulder blade. Really feeling a stretch. You feel in your outer tricep. Go ahead and roll that right wrist. Reverse. And switch. Connect your wrist, press your shoulder down. Left shoulder down. And roll the wrist. Reverse. Good, and back. Grab the elbow. Grab your right elbow and just let it swing back. Hold it. And switch. Interlock your fingers, and we're gonna lift up and over. Stretching our shoulder blades. And let it go. Roll it up. One more time. 6, 7, 8, and over. Good. Heavy arms. And release. Good. Let's go ahead and shake our hips. A little sways. A little bigger. And biggest. And full. And out. Squeeze. Good. Let's go ahead and turn out. So heels facing each other. Shoulders down. Out of your ears. Nice and long. Isolate your rib cage. Right. Left. Right. Left. Really isolate. Pull. Pull. Pull the strength in your arms. Pull and cross. Keep that chest open to the front. No crunching. A nice long line, like someone's pulling your fingertips up and down. Keep your turnout of that left foot and try to hug your right leg. Let's plie with the left and plie. Straighten, left leg bends. Straighten, down. And switch. Right leg. Make sure your knee is going over your toe for nice soft landings. Good. Hold the left leg, bend. Make sure your upper body is super, super heavy. Good. Switch and hold it. Right leg bends. And straighten. Good. One hand on either side. Let's go ahead and go down into our lunge. Good. Making sure here that your lunge is super, super strong. Our back leg is going to be completely straight. My front leg is in a really nice L. Make sure you're not too far forward because you can create ankle damage, and not too far back. So nice and even. You want to be on top of your lunge. So making sure you have both hands on either side. Your hip flexor pressing inward. Go ahead and feel your strength. Take a few bounces. Trying to go lower. Good, and hold it. We're going to take our back arm. We're going to work on our opening of the chest and of the shoulder blade. Taking the back arm, you're going to reach forward as you breathe in. You're going to open it up to the back as you breathe out, and you're going to repeat it, right, coming back forward. Ready? And 5, 6, 7, 8, and breathe in. And out, breathe in. Out, breathe in. Out, breathe in. Out, and last one, put your back knee down. And go ahead and grab that back foot with the same arm you have moving. So your right arm is grabbing your left leg. Good, just go ahead and focus here. If you can't grab your back leg, that's super okay. I definitely have days where I can't. Even if I have to let go, I still want my hips to be going down though. Always hips further versus lifting your hips up to grab your foot. This won't stretch anything. You want to keep those hips down and just grab as much as you can. Good, pull it a little bit closer and go ahead and let go. Slowly walk back. Walking yourself back. You can choose 2 stretches. You can either stay here, going halfway, or you can just sink a little bit lower and sit on that back left foot for the same stretch. Good. As you're here, make sure your right leg is super engaged and flat on the floor. Your right foot is being flexed. We're going to try to get our nose to our shin. And with your fingertips, you're going to pull all 5 toes towards your face. The more you can pull your toes and engage, you engage your underneath tendons of your calf, and it's going to pull and stretch you just a little more. So just go ahead and hold it. Really pull those toes, a few more seconds. Good, go ahead and crawl back to your lunge. Actually, let's go ahead and leave the knee down. Good, so we're here in the same stretch. Let's go ahead and use our balance to push ourselves up on top of our knee, holding this nice position. Really letting our hips sink forward. Make sure this knee still is in a straight, nice line, protecting our ankle and our Achilles heel. You should feel an opening of your inner thighs. And these are all preparing us for our split. Good, from here, just go ahead and listen. So this one's a little bit hard to do virtually because we're gonna face the back, so you're gonna be facing away from me. So from here, you're just gonna go ahead and twist your left knee towards the back of your room, inward. So you start pretzeling and turning towards the back, so you can sit with your right leg on top and hug your right knee. Good, perfect. Go ahead and sit up as tall as you can, finding your vertebrae super stacked, and hug your right knee as close as you can. That beautiful, beautiful height lifted up in your back. It's super important to lift up tall because it's really easy to hunch in this position. You want to fight against that and work an opening of that vertebrae. If you want an extra stretch, you can lift up tall and twist to the front. Good, continuing facing like the backish corner, just go ahead and take your right leg and just gently put it on top of your left like a pretzel. If this stretch is too intense for you, you can just sit crisscross applesauce. But if you can, go ahead and place that right leg directly on top. Your left foot is near your left hip. Your right foot near your left hip. Good, once we're in this pretzel, go ahead and slowly walk it down towards the center to stretch. I just put my hands in a little diamond shape and then I put my head on my hands. Make sure you really breathe in these stretches because these are all focusing on our inner hip, which is super, super gripped and tight most of the time. So really breathe. As you're leaning forward, go ahead and push your tailbone backwards so you get an even bigger stretch of opposing motions. Good, slowly stay low and walk over to the right to go over your right knee. Keep a very heavy head, heavy belly button. You want your chest to be contracting over, falling towards the floor over your right knee. Good, back to the middle. You should be a little bit lower the second time around. Keep breathing, big breath in and out. Let yourself sink lower to the floor. Good, stay low. Go ahead and crawl over that left knee. Full twist. As you're twisting to the left, make sure your right hip is staying down though to get an even bigger stretch. Don't let it lift up and follow you. Keep that opposition working. Good, and go ahead and roll up, nice and slow. And just take your arms out to the side and take a big breath in, kind of opening up the space, welcoming all the air, and melt it down. Good, go ahead and keep twisting towards your left shoulder. That way you can put your right foot back down where we just were, and you can twist back into your lunge. Good. Good, beautiful, beautiful. The more you can kind of twist and unravel yourself. If you kind of messed up like with the facing, just go ahead and come right back to your right lunge. Good, feel that strength one more time here. Let's go ahead and bounce it up. Both legs straight in this position. Good, go ahead and hold it. Go ahead and hold it, reach your knees down. Keep holding that position so I can look at everyone. Good, make sure that right foot facing forward. Beautiful, just as you're holding, you can listen, or if you need to sit up and listen as well. The stretch is super, super hard to do correctly, so it's really imperative to get the positioning right. So when I'm down, if I'm facing you guys, it's really imperative that your hip that's opening up to the front is downward. So the best way to check it is to lift up off that left foot, so left leg is in the air, just floating. Go ahead and slam that left hip down into its hip socket. You should feel a big shift of it opening forward and closing, that I can put my toes down nice and even. I should feel a way deeper stretch in my right leg because now my left hip is closed and I'm completely parallel versus cheating and being open. I don't get as much of a stretch in that leg. So it's much harder to balance, much harder to hold, and I get a deeper stretch. You should have about the width of a hand in between, so not too crazy far. Go ahead and hold it, heavy chest, really let your face, your belly button, everything sink down toward the floor, staying relaxed. Let's go ahead and take a plie with our back leg, 7, 8 plie. Now I'm gonna balance and point my front foot off the floor, and plie. Try to get your nose to your knee as you point and balance. 7, 8 plie. Point and balance, and plie. Point and balance. Hold the plie. Good, really straighten that right leg. Good, from here we're going to take both hands and bring them around back to where they're even with our left foot. So we're really challenging this balance. Good, now from here, keep your hands where they are and try to straighten both legs. So way deeper of a stretch for upper body. Good, and bend both, let knees go. Good, just kind of testing our balance, letting the blood out of our head, finding a nice strong position to balance in. Good, take a few big breaths. We're gonna go back to the same position. And down, up. And take one more lunge. Good, now leave your back foot exactly where it's at and go ahead and keep that left foot down, but just straighten your front foot now, and your goal is to get your back left heel on the floor. So now we're opening up that calf, stretching our Achilles heel. And this is super good to prepare for safe jumps because our heel and our foot and our ankle is everything. Good, and back to your lunge, and back up straight. Now the stretch should be a little bit easier since we stretch and open our calf. Good, now here, we're gonna go upside down a lot, so if you need to ever just take a break and let the blood out of your head, or if you get dizzy or anything, feel free. Go ahead and walk your hands out just a little bit, about a foot, and go ahead and let your left leg float up to the sky. There's 2 ways to do this stretch. We're just gonna do one today, so I'll show you both of them. So when your hands are closer to your foot, this is more of a true split, like what your split actually looks like upside down. If you wanna push and stretch it and hyperextend it, it's a little bit of cheating because you get to use gravity, but if you just walk your hands out, your leg will float a little bit higher. So you can stretch here, but it is really good to stretch in your true split to really use your own strength to get that leg up. So let's go ahead and bend it, keeping the knee nice and high. You don't want the hip and the knee to dip down. You want it to be opening up, turning out, and stretching up and over. I imagine that my left foot is trying to reach for my right armpit, so up and around. Go ahead and roll your ankle. And reverse. Good, lift your leg back up straight and down. We're gonna do 8 Battements, 6, 7, and kick 8. Control it down, and 7. Control it down, kick 6. And 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, nice straight legs. And 1, 8 pulses at the top. We go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it. Now make a big circle, like your toe is painting a circle in the ceiling. Things will start to cramp. Reverse. Push against it. Good, up. Now we're gonna go out to second position, so your foot's gonna go out to the front, audience, out and around, all the way down to your right foot, and then back up, fan kick around, back to the front, up and around, and here. Good, go ahead and plie both legs. Put the toe down, and stretch back. Good, just relieving the tension we just created in our right leg. Just gently stretch forward. Good, rolling up from here. From here, we're just gonna go ahead and slide into our jazz split. So one hand on either side. I'm just going forward just a little bit, using my heel to slide into a jazz split or a half split. Good. So from here, kind of shake it out a little bit if you need. It's super, super imperative. Let me just show you from the front and then I'll switch. So making sure that we're not sitting back into our pelvis and letting our pelvis sink down. This is going to create an inward motion, and then it'll also have the potential to injure the front of your hamstring from sitting incorrectly too much. Sitting like this is super, super dangerous for your knees, and really try to avoid it at all times. So for our jazz split, you want to make sure that you're trying to create a nice straight line from your kneecap to your kneecap. So making sure that that back leg is trying to scoop behind you as much as you can. You'd rather move your front leg to alleviate any flexibility pains versus moving that back leg. So really just pay attention to that inward knee. Good, let's go ahead and find that stretch. And engage your front foot so it's nice and pointed. When I say point your foot, I really mean point your ankle, so make sure you're stretching all the way through, down. And nice and out. Let's stretch to the side. Here to your leg. And shoulder blade to the back, arm to the back. And down and up, picks you up. Twist nose to your shin. Try to go past just nose to knee. Nose to knee makes you clench. So flatten over and nose to your shin. Good, and roll it up. In your jazz split, go ahead and lean back just a little bit. If you feel a little bit deeper stretch in your hamstring. Leaning away from it. Good, and bring that left hand up and sit nice and tall. This is your pose for your calypso. So it's good to make the shapes on the floor that we do in the air. From here, it's gonna lean back just a little bit and try to lift up that right leg, holding for strength, holding as long as you can, and down. Good, let's go ahead and switch. You're gonna bend in your right leg, nice and soft, and straighten your back left leg out. I always go slow through the transitions just to make sure if there's anything like funky happening, I'm going slow, not just like whipping into the next shape. So really take your time. From here, make sure you're nice and on top of your hips. So if you can't see, that foot is just inward under my hip. Make sure it's not behind you or anything funky. So again, we're here, right foot in front. Find your positioning. Good. We're gonna go ahead and invert the left hand. The music stop. You try it again. Invert the left hand. We're gonna open our right arm up, open the shoulder blades in the chest. Go ahead and slide underneath. In there. Slide your right hand underneath your left hand. Keep it going until it pulls you all the way down, so you can lay on that left hand. The right hand is over here, pulled nice and strong. Good, if this stretch is really intense for you, you can just go on your elbows. You can always modify it for your own body. You don't have to create the same shapes I'm making. I'm just trying to show some examples for you guys, so don't feel pressured. Make sure you're breathing, big breath in and out. Try to go a little bit lower, big breath in and breathe out, relax your hips. Breathe in and out, relax your shoulders and your jaw and your head. Good, keep breathing. Make sure your back foot isn't sigled inward like this. Make sure all 5 toes are just straight on the floor. Good, pick yourself up slowly. Keep that right hand inverted. Go ahead and open and stretch the left arm up. Same thing, thread it underneath the right hand. My right hand stays and I pull myself underneath for a big twisted stretch. Good, and up. Let's go ahead and take both hands out and slide forward, reaching for as far as you can stretch. A little lower. Good, and slide up. Let's go ahead and press against our right knee and arch to the ceiling. And up. Good, let's go ahead and bend our left leg. You can grab it with either hand. I much prefer grabbing with the left hand. Just go ahead and bend at your kneecap and pull. Make sure you're still on top of your hips. If you can, just keep pulling it towards you for a full hamstring stretch. If this isn't much of a stretch for you and you want to further it, you can test your balance by hooking your left foot into your elbow and stretching and balancing. Good, and down. We're going to go ahead and slide back on a diagonal as much as you can. So you can either go on your hands, you can either go on your elbows, or you can go all the way down, flat back. Good, use the stomach strength in your core to help you roll onto your right shoulder and lift up and around. Good, from here I'm going to bring in my left knee and press out into butterfly. So go ahead and take a second and shake it out. Give your hips a second to breathe. Good, and knees in. And stretch it forward. Touch with your hamstrings. And walk it forward, stretch your Achilles heels. Try to get your heel all the way on the floor. And roll it up 8 counts. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sweet, sweet, sweet. If you need to grab like a ninja fast sip of water, we're gonna go ahead and do the left side. I'm gonna go double speed the left side since you kind of know like where our placements are and everything. So just think about them mentally. But we're gonna do left and we're gonna go way faster. So grab a quick sip if you absolutely need. Here we go, left side. Way faster. 6, 7, and out. To the left. And down. Plie the right leg down. And up, down, and up, and switch left leg. And up, down, and up. Hold the right, hold. And the left, hold. Square yourself for a lunge. And bounce, bounce. And back arm, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. Out. Make sure your front leg is in the L. Breathe out. Breathe in. And out. Last one. Knee down. Grab that back foot. I'm only going faster because of time. I don't stretch crazy fast, but just so we can get through some more stretches. And back. Remember, pull those toes towards your face and fold in half. And back to your lunge. Keep your knee down. And use your balance. Lift yourself up, keeping your hip pulling down as much as you can. Good. Twisting. This is going to be the same thing from the back. So bringing in that right knee. Try to pretzel. Keep twisting to the back as your right knee slides under. Hug your left knee towards your chest. Sit up nice and tall and twist. Really push against that spine that's going to want to hunch forward. Good, left leg gently on top. Pretzel it if you can. If you can't, crisscross applesauce is great too. And walk it down to the middle. To the left. To the middle. To the right. And then we're going quick. Good, keep twisting towards your right to put your left foot back down, back into your lunge. Good, super strong. Go ahead and bounce it up. And plie the back leg and plie. And point and balance, plie. Point and balance, plie. Point, plie, and point and hold. 2, 3, 4, hand slide back. 7, 8, and stretch. 3, 5, 7, bend both knees down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and swoop. Float that right leg up. And bend it, keep the knee high, roll your ankle. Reverse. Leg up, leg down, and 8, bottom 7, and 8. Control it down. 7, keep your hips square. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. 8 pulses, let's go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and circle. Circle, reverse, circle. Circle, second position, out to the front, and down, and open, pancake up. Then I'm going to show you one more stretch you can do since we're a bit faster. If you want to really push your paunches, just pull your toe to the ceiling, lift your chest up just a little bit, and you can try to balance this out. Good, and down. Let's go ahead and bend both knees back into our lunge, back into a stretch, soften that left knee. Good, and press and slide that jazz split. And I always slide because choreography has tons of slides into jazz splits, so it's good to just work it on the floor as well. And out, point your feet, and cross. Shoulder blade back, down, picks me up, twist, and nose to shin. Good, sitting up. Little baby arch back. And up, and balance. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good, slowly switch, left knee in, right leg out. Right away, take that left arm, invert the right hand, and thread it underneath. And switch, and under. Good, arch, press against. I skip the middle just for time. Go ahead and grab that back leg. Pull it towards you as much as you can. And slide it back as far as you go. Hands, elbows, or floor. Good, from here we're not gonna come up actually. Just go ahead and try to listen to my words if you can, or you can turn it down a little bit. From here, go ahead and hug your knees towards your chest. We're gonna be working upside down. I know it's hard to see me, so I'm just gonna articulate everything we're doing. That way you don't have to look up as much. Just hugging your knees, rocking side to side, opening up your vertebrae. As many baby stretches as you can do are really helpful. Like this is a baby stretch. Babies roll around all the time. Babies also grab their heels with their hands and they rock side to side. This is a huge hip opener stretch. It feels silly, but it's really, really great. And it's a great way to warm up super quick. Good, keeping your hands in both heels. Let's come forward. Go ahead and straighten out your right leg out to the side, taking a position. My feet are flexed, getting a deeper stretch upside down. And in. Go ahead and switch it as much as you can. Straighten that left leg out. Good, and in. And straighten it up. Legs straight to the ceiling. My feet are flexed. So I'm in an upside down first position. Upside down ballet is much, much harder in my opinion than regular ballet. You have a lot of gravity going against you. So really, really work hard to keep your legs nice and straight and turned out. If you need, you're gonna press your thighs open for turnout. If you're good at just mentally do it, we're gonna do 8 plie, 6 and 5, 6, 7, 8 plie. And straighten, plie. And straighten. You should feel your tummy really, really tightening, how you have to hold. And up, 4 more, 4. Turn out, get the knees facing out. And up, heels stay connected the whole time. Up and down. And up, we straighten out, 2, 3 out in front of us. 6, 7 back up. Just a little ab strength for the day. Good, gently open your feet out into second position. Let them just rest for a second. In second. Make sure your hips aren't too far forward or too far backward. They should be right in their hip socket, right in line with parallel to your pelvis. I imagine that my feet are flexed and my toes are going towards the floor, not towards me. So I really want to work that turnout as much as I can, internally rotating from my inner thighs. Good, go ahead and gently bring your knees in and give them a big hug. If we had more time, I would do a lot more work upside down in second position. So if you just want to sit up just for a second, just so you can see a few stretches, I would do if I had a bunch more time. Anything you do in second position is really, really great upside down because there's so much gravity working on your inner thighs. So you can go here, you can do altercations of here, going up and going down. You can just crisscross in the center, you can beat down, boom, boom, feet. You can hold both feet out to put the pressure, or you can just rest. You can go against a couch or a wall and just sit and put yourself against the wall and then hold your feet, same thing, for a few minutes. You'll feel a stretch. You can also do any type of ab workouts here that work your lower abs and anything like that. So those are super, super great. Good, so let's go ahead back to hugging our knees. We're gonna rock ourselves forward and backwards, eventually letting our feet go over our head and stretch our backs. So start to rock forward and back, slowly getting higher and higher, to where you can then throw your feet over your head as much as you can. I'm using my hands to support my back. My hands are holding my lower back as my feet are just trying to float towards the floor, opening up my lower vertebrae. If you can do this and you want a deeper stretch, you can bend your knees on either side of your face to try to fold in half. Good, and coming up, legs straight. Good, go ahead and put them in front of you and lower down. Nice heavy head. Go ahead and face you guys. What's the time? Okay, keep it. Good, go ahead and gently rest forward. And rolling up. Let's take some plies going forward. So folding in half for most people is really, really hard. A lot of people are really good like back bends or just like second positions or splits, but forward and just like this folding motion is really, really tricky. Just make sure, so it's tricky for most people because our spine obviously is in an S shape. So when we put pressure down here, our pelvis is gonna make us contract back and it's gonna make us hunch over quite a bit. So you wanna try to sit on top of that tailbone, sitting up nice and tall as if someone had like a board on my back holding me super tall. As you're stretching forward, you wanna try not to crunch down inward toward your belly button and again, go nose to knee. I wanna stay nice and long, let my belly button pull me forward, and then I can fold in half from there. It's a lot easier thinking belly button is stretching me versus my whole head where I just fall forward. So just keep that in mind as we stretch, as we're trying to really, really fold in half. So again, we're gonna take please to the front. So as I bend my right knee, I'm just gonna come down, and I'm gonna bend my left knee, and I'm gonna keep switching. As my weight is pulling me forward, I should get lower and lower and lower. We're gonna do 8 of these guys. So right knee, right and left. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8, plie. Then the left, then right. Left, right, left, right, left, bend both, down. Both knees are bent, head is down. Good, stay exactly where you are with your upper body and let your legs straighten. And roll it up. Plies again, same thing. 6, 7, 8, bend the right, bend your left, bend right. 6, 7, 8, bend both knees up, head down. And straighten your legs, keep your head down and straighten. Good, roll it up. Good, go ahead and bounce your legs out to second position. Nice and gentle. We're gonna take some push-ups. Again, in my opinion, stretching forward. And for me, second position is much harder than my right or left splits. So I have to be way more attentive. Just know obviously our bodies are all built super, super differently. Your pelvis and your alignment of your hips, we kind of can't change. Obviously, once you're born, your hips are just kind of like locked into place. You can't just like snap them and bend them outward. So if you're someone whose feet and legs, you can sit, I'm just gonna show you real fast. If you're someone whose knees face each other inward, that just means you have a bit of pronation, not inward rotation. You're gonna have to work extra hard on your second position opening, because that means your hips, your pelvis, you have more of a closed off position here. I have this, so second position is super hard for me. If you're someone who naturally can just like slam a 180 turnout, second position is much easier because your hips are a little bit more open. So just pay attention to like our body and the difficulties we have or the ease that we have. So mindfulness is good just to make sure you're nice and safe. Good, so here, make sure your toes, I'm gonna go ahead and flex my feet for a deeper stretch, making sure you stay facing the ceiling. If anytime you start to roll inward, you're too far forward, and maybe you need to bring your legs in just a little bit so that you can keep that outward turnout inner thighs. We're gonna take push-ups going forward to the right and forward and then to the left. We're gonna do 4 in each position. We're gonna do this 2 times. The first time is just nice and easy, just waking up our inner thighs and our chest and our upper back and top of our hamstrings. The second time you do it, you wanna go as low as you possibly can. That way we're super warmed up for our second position splits. 5, 6, 7 to the middle and a 1. 2, 3, and 4 to the right. 1, nice and easy. 3, 4, heavy head and neck, heavy belly button. 3, and 4 to the left. 2, 3, and 4. Again, go low. 2, 3, and 4. Low as you can, really push. Use your heavy weight, heavy head. 7, and 8 to the middle of 1, 3, 4 to the left, 3, and 4. Go ahead and swing to the right, swing to the left. Go ahead, slowing down, slower, and more to the middle and stretch. You can either put your hands in a diamond and down for a deeper stretch. Go ahead and put your hands out in front of you. Make sure you're breathing. Your goal is to get your belly button on the floor, so keep compressing that lower vertebrae. Use your hands to gently push you back. Good, and then just a little PSA as we do like our split stretches and on the floor, you really want to
really, really, really want to be mindful because you can injure yourself. Obviously, our body can just like whoop, and snap something, so you really want to be careful when you're in a second position stretch. If you feel way too intense pain in your inner thigh, that's your groin, so you really want to pay attention to that because that can tear. So just be nice and easy. If you need to take a little bit more of a warm up for your second position, do that. When we go into our right and left splits, you're going to watch out for that underneath hamstring. Hamstrings are super, super tight. So even if you just have to take a second and massage the area that you're like, whoa, it's really tight today, before you just like snap it. So just really be mindful. It needs to be physically warm as well as stretched beforehand. You can't just like drop into your split. So just a little PSA. So let's go ahead and go over our right leg, feeling nice and long. Your goal is to get your hands past your foot. This is a really great stretch for our right split hamstring because we're opening up underneath without actually doing a split. Good. Other side and left hamstring. Keeping that right foot engaged though, don't let it sickle in. Good. And up, we're going to just do a little bit of strength. Strength is also just as important as stretching. If you only stretch and get super flexible, you might be able to kick your face, but you won't have any control to it. So it's super important that it's not just like throwing and whacking, that you have a sense of control and alignment in that flexibility. So we're going to take our right leg, we're going to bounce it in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 6, 7, 8. We're going to do the same with the left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to do that twice, 2 times, both legs. And then bounce. This is helping our inner thigh and our hamstring and our underneath quad help us be able to lift our leg. That way when we're standing up, that leg can just be lifted and float. So that's what we're working on. Ready? You can either put your hands back or out, either one. 6, 5, 6, 7, and right, 2, 3, 4, out, 6, 7, left leg, 1, 3, 5, again, right leg, 1, turn it out. 6, 7, 8, bounce, and bounce. Both legs, you have to lean back. 3, 4, 6, again, 1, 4, 6, 7, good, middle stretch. It's good to work your muscles, so we just worked our inner thighs, and now we're stretching it. That way the muscle memory when I go to stretch is a little bit further than the time before. Good from here. I know sliding through middle splits is not everyone's favorite thing, and if it's not something you're super comfortable with, it can be kind of uncomfortable at first. So if you haven't done this before, the best way is to just pick yourself up on either side or start to rock yourself back and then push up onto both hands. We're going to be sliding through our middle split. If you just want to go ahead and pass it and just kind of skip it for today, that's fine, but you're just going to rotate forward and pull yourself through to your middle split. Even just trying it one time is super, super great. We're just going to get to here onto our stomach. Again, like I said, if that's something that's new for you, when I first started, I would pick myself up on my more dominant leg, my right side, and then I would walk myself through, and then I would lower down, and then push through. Good, just go ahead and shake your legs out here, getting a resting position. Good, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to face the side so you can see the stretch a little bit better. Like I said, your hips are born a certain way, so some of these stretches won't actually ever change on you, but they're just always going to keep furthering that stretch. So one of them is this frog. So go ahead and open the knees, put the feet together. Like I said, if you're born, hips are inward, your legs and your feet will be up and unable to touch the floor. This is something like kinesiology-wise will never touch the floor. My hips will never release like this because of our bone structure. If your feet are flat on the floor right now, that means you have really, really open hips. It's super, super good for second position stretching, so it's super awesome. If you're like me and your hips don't work like this, you can try also another different stretch. Everyone could try this as well by opening the legs here, pushing up onto my elbows, onto my hands. So now I'm in an open frog. This way I can do the same stretch, but without having just the working of my feet. From here, I'm going to try to lower down, my hips lower. The closer I can press my glute to my feet, the bigger the stretch. Be careful here because again, this is our groin and our middle split stretching. And then I come back forward, and I press back again, trying to sit closer to my feet. You should feel a big difference, a big, big stretch opening up those inner thighs. Good, forward. And last time, pressing back. Good, and back to your tummy. And go ahead and grab both legs and pull them towards you to stretch the top of your hamstrings. Folding in half. Good, and down. Go ahead and put your toes on the floor. Push up to a push-up, and push back. In downward dog, make sure you're trying to arch your back, get your heels on the floor, pressing away from your head. Good, let's go ahead and bring our left knee into a lunge. Sweet, we're gonna work on our left splits. And the best way to do a split, if you are uncomfortable with doing splits, is from a lunge, because it's the most like parallel and even spaced. So from here, I'm just gonna go ahead and put my, let me turn it down a little bit. Put my right knee on the floor. I'm gonna go ahead and start wiggling both feet in opposition. So my front foot forward, my back knee's opening up. You have to have one hand on either side to do a proper split. So make sure you're really focusing. If here is where you're at today, that's super great. Try to at least straighten both legs so you're feeling that stretch. If you can, start to lower down and press into your split. Like I said, having one hand on either side and being on top of your split is where you really want to be versus cheating and sitting back. Although it looks like a split from the front, we're not actually stretching that inner thigh. So your right hip should be facing forward. You should be able to balance out. That would feel good. And then you know you have a really awesome split if you can press up in that split. That means it's super, super strong. So it's a good strengthening thing for our rangité leaps. We have about 10 more seconds. If you want, you can go nose down. You can go back. Another great split stretch is to twist to the back and to cross. Good, from here, if you're in your split, if not, you can just kind of fall out of it and melt gently. If you're in your split for one more deeper stretch, you're gonna slowly invert that right leg out to second position. Really working that right thigh and that rotational outwardness. Good, let's go ahead and bring it in and press it up. And now we're gonna go to the right. Just a little quick transition for time. Go ahead and press back into your right lunge. Same process, knee down. And I'm just gonna slide forward, making sure that I'm in line. My left hip is down, and I'm on top of my split, and I'm reaching forward with both feet. My feet are engaged, so that my split looks like this in the air. And again, if you're here, that's super, super great. Each day you try this, it'll just go a little lower and lower and lower. Stretching does take time and patience. Again, if you have your split and you want to deepen it, you can just go down, back, or twist. Good, and go ahead and relax out of it. One more thing I just want to show you, if splits are something that are like your arch nemesis and you've been doing splits forever and ever, there's a few things that you can kind of do to combat this. I'm going to turn this down so you can hear. So, few of my split, right there. Few of my split tricks. One, if your right and left split are really, really giving you a hard time, could be a few different things going on. Most of it is just tension. Got to be holding on to our hips or just our inner thighs or underneath here is going to be way too tight. So first of all, I always stretch after I take a shower, put on really warm clothes, and then I stretch because my muscles are physically warmer and more able to loosen up versus just freshly waking up and I'm super sore from all my activity the day before. So at the end of the day is really when I try to stretch. Again, if your split is having a ton of trouble, you can try doing an oversplit. So when you press into oversplits, gravity is working a lot harder on you. That way when you just go into an actual split, it feels a lot easier. So one of the best ways to do an oversplit, even if you don't do it fully, even just working that is going to press your split faster because gravity, like I said, is way, way, way harder. So any surface you have that's yay high, even a few inches high, like putting a cup or just a little baby, something on the floor, you can do the same type of thing by just putting, if I'm going to do a right split, just to show you so you can have a little bit of extra tools. I'm going to put my right leg on top because my right leg is better so I can show you. I'm going to do the same thing. Now I have a ton of height working against me and a lot more gravity pulling on my hips to push me down. So I'm just going to scoot back. This is way more intense, so please be way more cautious. So as I'm here, it's going to pull me down. And with time, if you can go into an oversplit and press over, doing a regular split, feels super, super easy. So it's a really, really easy tool. And like I said, my oversplit started out really scary and I look like this. for like a year, and then eventually your hips will just naturally kind of separate and help you out. Another really, really big tip, can I have a partner? If you have anyone else in your home, this is my hack to getting a center split because it took me a lot longer than it did my right and left. So if you have a friend, like your parent or your bestie or whatever, so if you lay on your back, and I'll just kind of show you because again, I'll just example it. You're here, you're gonna put your knees together, someone else is gonna stand above you. They're gonna put their legs closing your knees together. What you're gonna do laying here is you're gonna try to open your own knees. Obviously I can't because they're too strong. What this is gonna do is it's gonna work your inner thighs and it's gonna open your tendons and it's gonna stretch them, and then you stop. Push, 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 and stop. You do it like 5 times. My legs are strong. And then you stop, and when they move, you should be able to slide a little bit better into that middle split. So again, just what this is doing is this is working my inner thighs by having to push. What I'm doing is just this motion, but because they're working against me, it's just my inner thighs moving, and I'm really having to push. And again, those tendons are separating, opening, and then when you slide into that middle split, your muscle memory kind of memorizes what you're asking of it. So that's a little bit of strength training is my advice. But yeah, that was a lot of words. I hope that's helpful. That's kind of my full body rundown from head. We did arms, then we did a ton of legs. The best way to just cool down after this is just sitting in a butterfly and just flapping for a little bit, alleviating any tension. And also what I do is I'm a super mindful, like body mind connection type person. So I really pay attention to just like the physicality of what I'm thinking as I'm stretching. Always make sure you're giving, as you're just sitting in butterfly, kind of calming the legs, make sure you're giving yourself a ton of love as you're stretching. If you're doing it, you're like, oh, in your head, like your little voice in your head, if you're like, oh my God, my split is the worst. I'm so inflexible. I'm never gonna be able to do this. Your body's gonna react to you. It's gonna listen to you, and it's gonna create whatever you're thinking. So make sure you're giving yourself a ton of love in your split. You're like, yes, go Katie. I love splits. It's awesome. Even if you're like 10 feet off the ground, it'll just naturally kind of give positive reinforcement, and your body will react to that way better than it will any kind of negative energy. If you want, while Robert's just like kind of finishing up, just go ahead and give your legs a little bit of love, just a little bit of massage. You're gonna punch out some underneath your thigh, top of it, and then here. And then my one more tip, just because this was like one of the best things ever, my friend Ashley taught me this, and then I also found it in kinesiology when in college for dance. So we have a little connector that connects our back. A lot of people come to me with back problems. I'm like, how do I get my lower back to stretch? It hurts so much all the time. We have a connector that's in the center of our glute that we can't really reach ourselves. It's really tricky. So the best way, and like I said, it connects your back all the way to your legs. If you're having a ton of trouble getting like this flexibility, your leg to open up underneath here, you might want to pay attention to this connector. So the best way to find it is it's in the center from your, let's see if I can do this upside down. Normally you're laying here, but it's from your top of your tushy, from the inner thigh, and you just draw a straight line. So in the center of my glute, you'll feel it. It's a little ball. It'll hurt really bad once you find it, but if you can just on your own, just mush out that tension that's right there, you'll feel it. Once you find it, takes a second. And if you also have just someone else helping you, you can just lay, cross one leg, draw a line, center, and then it's right there. So if you have a ton of tension in your back and you're really just struggling with flexibility, do a little bit of research on how to relax your actual muscles with massaging. That way when you stretch, you're actually getting the benefit, and it's not just like hurting you if you have any type of like things. I feel older, so I have a ton of things I have to work out on my own, so that might be you, so hopefully that's helpful. But yeah, okay, so many words. I hope that helps. Like I said, things do take a ton of time. I was super inflexible when I first started. If you don't start dance like when you're 2, you kind of have to work backwards, but always remember that we're born insanely flexible. We all come out of the womb like this with our head behind our head, so we're naturally have that flexibility. So it's just about working backwards and kind of getting that and being safe and kind to yourself as we stretch.
Okay, so we're gonna stay on for like 2 or 3 more minutes. If you need like any questions, if you have any questions about different parts of your body or like things that you're wanting to stretch on your own or that you've had issues with, we'll stay on to kind of answer some questions. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. This recording will be sent out, same thing, 24 hours after. And then yeah, we have I think Saber and like more equipment classes coming this week and stuff, more advanced things, same thing as like this past week. And then we have like a Q&A style thing next Sunday. So in exactly a week. And it's basically just me and Katie and then a couple other people like Tex and stuff are going to come on. And it's just a chance for anyone to come on and ask any questions they want. So about anything, about any aspect of color guard, performing, instructing, teaching, how we're setting up our schools, just literally anything. So I'm going to try to get as many people from the community and stuff in that Q&A to kind of help out. But yeah, it's just going to be just like this. And then same thing, you can sign up on the website and everything. Yeah. Cool. And then yes, and we're doing another dance on Saturday as well. So we'll go ahead and post calendars and everything. But yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. But thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you. Feel free to ask questions because dancing is hard, so I'm here if you need.
You must have the recording too.